In the book of Genesis, there are two important trees in the Garden of Eden: the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life. We're told that eating from the first tree was a sin that caused our fall from grace. And the second tree is usually seen as something holy that could have granted eternal life if only we had chosen to eat from it. But in ancient esoteric books like the Gnostic book, The Reality of the Rulers, these meanings shift. The tree of knowledge is reimagined as the first sign of spiritual awakening. Eating it allowed Adam and Eve to see that the world around them was far from perfect. It made them aware of duality, so good and evil, light and dark, and so on. And it showed them that someone or something had built the system that they were living in. In these older Gnostic texts, the world of Eden isn't created by a loving, all-knowing God. It's created by the devil. Some called this devil character Yaldabaoth. And he built the Garden of Eden to look perfect, but it was a highly controlled environment. And the archons, who are the rulers under Yaldabaoth, are responsible for maintaining control and keeping things running in a contained way. When Adam and Eve eat from the tree of knowledge, they step outside of that order and they begin to see deeper truths. And in response, they are thrown out from Eden and cut off from the tree of life. This sounds like a punishment, but in reality, it was something else. In traditional religion, the tree of life was a gift from God, a source of eternal life that humanity lost because of disobedience. Adam and Eve sinned by eating from the tree of knowledge, so God protected the tree of life and cut Adam and Eve off from material immortality. But in the esoteric view, the story is flipped. The tree of life didn't offer true freedom, it offered eternal life within a false reality. The being who cast them out wanted to keep consciousness contained. And that couldn't happen with Adam and Eve around because they had certain knowledge, because they had eaten from the tree of knowledge. By being exiled before they could eat from the tree of life, Adam and Eve were actually saved from being locked in the illusion of physical reality forever. And their fall from Eden became the first step towards awakening. After eating from the tree of knowledge, Adam and Eve became aware of good and evil. This represents the birth of duality. But duality is really difficult. Once you are aware of opposites, you become emotionally tied to them. So you start trying to be good and be holy and to fix your past and your karma and so on. It's endless. And you get into a cycle of trying to earn your worthiness and your divinity. But if this system is based on duality, which it is, then trying to win at the game by being a good person just keeps you in the game. Whether you're a saint or a sinner, you're still on the same playing board. And the archons who control this reality don't care what side you're on. They care that you are playing. We're told that we are human and that we have a soul. But what if we are the soul and the body is what we're dreaming? Think about your dreams at night. Most of the time, you don't remember how they started. You just appear in the middle of the dream. already acting out a specific story. And you rarely question how they got there, because in the dream, it all feels natural and normal. Life is like that. We're told that our story begins in the womb, and no one really remembers what happens before that. And then we wake up in these bodies and we start acting out a script with only fragments of something bigger still echoing in the background. That's a signal that this life is a kind of dream. And not just a dream of the mind, a dream of separation, where the soul forgets what it really is so that it can experience limitation, individuality, and contrast. Consciousness is the ability to be aware. It's what allows us to experience life, to notice, to reflect, and ask questions. And in order for consciousness to fully understand itself, it needs a mirror. It needs perspective. And it needs to be able to explore itself from different angles. So it creates the appearance of separation, and it splits itself into many experiences, many forms, and many stories. Not because it's broken, but because it's curious. If the soul is dreaming this world, which I believe it is, then awakening isn't about fixing the dream. Awakening is about realizing that we are more than the roles that we are playing inside of the dream. No one is perfect, and you're not here to be a perfect human being. You're here to remember that the human story is just one small part of something much larger that didn't begin with your birth and won't end when you pass on. And maybe, just maybe, Eden wasn't a story about failure. It was a symbolic reminder of the first moment that you started to remember how powerful you really are. Thanks for watching.